This is something that's very important. So while we're talking about all this racial divide, did you get what mainstream media is saying? Just like Donald Lamone said, the biggest terror threat in America today is white men radicalized to the right. That is what leftist media is wanting you to believe today. The biggest problem that we have is racist people, these white supremacists who think they're better than everybody else. Guys, that is not the biggest problem. That's not even close to the biggest problem that we have today. You know what one of the biggest problems is today? Central bank digital currency, the CBDCs. If they initiate that and get rid of all fiat currency, we're dead. We're dead in the water. We're doomed. And people don't even think about the ramifications of this. A cashless society means no cash, zero. You know, all that mattress money you have or safe money or whatever, gone. It doesn't mean mostly cashless and you can still use a wee bit of cash here and there. Cashless means fully digital, fully traceable, fully controlled. And not just tracing the currency that you have, but tracing you. What are you buying? What are you selling? Where are you going? Who are you collaborating with? What is your ideology? I think those who support a cashless society aren't fully aware of what they're asking. Cashless society means no more tucked away cash for those preparing to leave domestic violence. No more purchases off marketplace, like in the black market, unless you want to risk bank transfer fraud. No more garage sales. No more cash donations to hungry homeless that you pass. No more cash slipped into the hands of a child from their grandparent. No more money on birthday cards. No more piggy banks or tooth fairy for your child. No more selling bits and pieces from your home that you no longer want or need for a bit of cash in return. Less choice of where you purchase based on affordability. What a cashless society does guarantee is that banks have full control over every single cent you own. Every transaction that you make is recorded. All your movements and actions are traceable. All your movements and actions, including if you get on Twitter and say something the government doesn't like, boom, we'll shut you off. We'll starve you to death. Oh, did you want to transfer something from you to Last American Vagabond or from you to somebody who's already been economically terrorized by the system? Well, now you're going to be economically terrorized by the systems because we're going to cut you off. This is far more important than any kind of painted racism that the mainstream, fake stream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra wants you to believe. Switching gears just a little bit here. Listen to the brand new, this is Jean-Pierre who's replacing Jen Psaki. This is Ducey asking, how does raising taxes on corporations lower the cost of gas, the cost of a used car, the cost of food, everyday Americans? How does taxing Amazon or taxing Elon Musk or taxing some billionaire corporation, how is that going to reduce inflation for the rest of us? Listen to what she says.
Is an important part of that as well.
But how does raising taxes on corporations lower the cost of gas, the cost of a used car, the cost of food for everyday Americans?
So look, I think we encourage those who have done very well, right? Especially those who care about climate change, to support a fair tax code that doesn't charge manufacturers, workers, cops, builders a higher percentage of their earnings, that the most fortunate people in our nation.
All these people can do is just read a script. That's all they can do. And what's interesting is, I mean, don't these people get, oh yeah, somebody just asked, are the questions submitted beforehand? Why is she reading an answer? Yeah, well, I mean, you know, they come in, Jen Psaki at least did, and so did McEnany, you know, just to keep everything even. But they come in with this binder that's got all these tabs in it where they can actually, you know, read an answer from some pre-prepared thing from the White House field office. So they can't even give just a gut honest answer. How does taxing corporations bring down inflation? Guys, if you think about it economically, you could tax everybody 100%. That's not going to lower inflation. It can't. Inflation comes for, you know, a multitude of different reasons. But one of the big reasons is increasing the money supply. If you increase the M2, M3 money supply, then you're going to have more of it in the system. When you have more of something in the system, it diminishes the value of each individual unit. If you want to decrease inflation, you stop printing money. You instead of quantitative easing, you do quantitative tightening, but they're not going to do that. They may start doing that right now because we're kind of at a tipping scale, and now you got the Federal Reserve trying to make themselves not look so bad so that they can swoop in as, hey, look, we're the savior. We've brought down inflation. Raise the interest rates. But she doesn't have an answer to this because there is no answer. Taxing corporations does not bring down inflation.
That the most fortunate people in our nation, and not let that stand in the way of reducing energy costs and fighting this existential problem, if you think about that as an example. And to support basic collective bargaining rights as well, right? That's also important. But look, it is, without having a fair tax code, which is what I'm talking about, then like manufacturing workers, cops, it's not fair for them to have to pay higher taxes than the folks who are not paying taxes at all. It's an important part.
Truly amazing. It's truly amazing. You've got the foxes in control of the hen house, trying to reassure all the hens that everything's going to be A-okay. Everything's going to be fine. More theft is the answer to every problem when professional thieves are in charge. That's the bottom line, and that's the takeaway. And then you've got this right here. It's just amazing. The left versus right paradigm lie. Seriously, you can sidestep a whole bunch of this right here if you remove yourself from the pit of cognitive dissonance and, put down the Kool-Aid cup where you're in the cult of personality. MSNBC host compares Buffalo supermarket shooter to Kyle Rittenhouse. Really? How's that? Okay, wait a second. Did the Buffalo supermarket shooter, was he defending himself against some kind of violent onslaught? Was Kyle Rittenhouse defending himself? Was Kyle Rittenhouse going to look for problems, and was he looking to gun someone down? Well, according to the final decision in that court case, nope, he was completely innocent on all counts. But here you go, mainstream media. So I hope I'm not in Kyle Rittenhouse's corner because they're using that kid to increase the political divide and the left versus right paradigm and all that kind of stuff. But if I was Kyle Rittenhouse, you'd want to be keenly attuned, or at least your attorneys would want to be keenly attuned to this, because this right here, comparing a guy who's been declared innocent of all wrongdoing to a guy who's clearly involved in wrongdoing is at least slander. And when it's written down, it's libel. One user wrote that this is what happens when Kyle Rittenhouse is the hero and Colin Kaepernick is the villain. MSNBC host and legal contributor Katie Fang, she's a legal contributor and she actually says this, compared white supremacist shooter Peyton Gendron, however you say it, who attacked shoppers at a Buffalo supermarket on Saturday, to Kyle Rittenhouse in a brief same-day tweet. The comparison came after this Suburban Women Problem podcast co-host Rachel Vindman tweeted a jab at former President Donald Trump's Florida retreat Mar-a-Lago, posing the theoretical question of how long it would take before the Buffalo shooter appears on the premises to party. How long until the Buffalo shooter is partying at Mar-a-Lago, she writes. Fang chimed in minutes later, adding, quote, let me see if I can get the actual tweet. Where's the actual tweet? I don't like to believe what faux news says. Quote, with Kyle Rittenhouse referring to accusations that the then 17-year-old who fatally shot protesters at a 2020 protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, did not act in self-defense, while doubling down on rhetoric implying that he committed a hate crime similar to Gendron's. Reactions poured in on the thread, with commentators condemning the comparison in light of Saturday's tragic event and slamming Fang for perpetuating allegations towards someone who was acquitted. I would actually like to see that tweet and see if they're being accurate about that, because you'll notice that Fox News did not continue on with the quote. Minutes later, with Kyle Rittenhouse referring to accusations that then 17-year-old, see, they didn't even complete that. That's something that's suspect to me. I wonder if this is even true, because you know that legal analysts in the legal department and even these leftist corporate media, they're like, hey, chill out with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. We don't want a lawsuit like Nicholas Sandmann did to CNN and the New York Slimes and the Washington Compost Pile. Because you remember what that lawsuit was for? $250 million, and they settled out of court because they knew they were wrong. The Oliver Darcys and the little Brian Stelters, and who's that guy, Reza Aslan, who ate brains on CNN's live broadcast? Reza Aslan put a picture of Nicholas Sandmann after that event in Washington, D.C. and said, have you ever seen a more punchable face? Well, they got sued and they settled out of court, which means they admit that they were wrong. They admit that they slandered and libeled the kid. This is off the chain. I love it. If they truly said this, I want them to keep doing this so that hopefully more people will wake up. Unfortunately, what it's going to take for some people to wake up, and maybe not even then, is for something so blatant, so idiotic, so evil to come by their way. They're going to go, I'm not going to watch MSNBC anymore. I don't trust CNN anymore. Screw it. You would think weapons of mass destruction would be the end all and be all of the final nail in the coffin of fake stream media. And that includes faux news too. You would think after the weapons of mass destruction lie that ended up in how many lives lost, how many trillions of dollars wasted, how much deception on the landscape of America, how much utter tyranny on American soil and throughout the world on behalf of the U.S. government empire. You would think that alone would be the smelling salt of reality that everybody needed to understand, hey, I got to shut my TV off. Everything they're telling me, everything is a lie. And then you had the Kentucky gun range at Knob Creek saying that it was the Syrian slaughter. Oh my God, what's going on here? Come to find out that a couple of sleuths on the internet, not even mainstream media people, called ABC out on that. But even after that, Good Morning America ran the same Syrian slaughter from the Kentucky gun range as they did the night before on the ABC Nightly News. Guys, I'm telling you, every chance, that's just the stuff that they were caught on, red-handed. What about all the stuff that slid in under because we didn't have enough information or enough evidence to pin them on it? And guys, there's a lot. There is a lot that mainstream media did. It just amazes me that anybody gets their news from these sources. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel, one of the best things you can do is like and share this video with everybody you know, everywhere you can on social media. If you want to support further, the Patreon, Bitcoin, and Subscribe Star links are in the description in the pinned comment. And if you want to support further, you can grab a hard-hitting, conversation-starting shirt from the shirt store. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.